Welcome to Planet People, a podcast that aims to inspire curiosity and cultivate a deeper connection with the natural world. I'm Natalie Jane, a conservation biologist, eco-communicator, and the host of this podcast series. And I am thrilled to be sharing stories with you that highlight the beauty and importance of protecting our planet's wildlife. Welcome back to Planet People. This episode is a part 2 with Alex Wild. We went on a gorgeous nature walk around San Elijo Lagoon, where we identified multiple birds, plants, and talked more about Alex's duties as a park ranger, as well as elders that inspire us to keep going. If you haven't already, check out our latest episode with Alex, where we break down the recent events of the attacks on national parks and the federal worker cuts that affected him directly. We discuss the importance of connecting with the land and using our voice to protect what we love. Oh, and we had a special guest, Franklin the desert tortoise, that used to be Alex's pet, but he was donated to the San Elijo Lagoon so he can live out his days as an animal ambassador. Thank you so much, Franklin and Alex, for joining us on this very special episode, and we were so lucky to have a desert tortoise grace us with its presence during this fun in-person episode here at San Elijo.
Yeah. Having Franklin was such a wonderful surprise. It made an already amazing day more special. And we got to go on this nature walk, which actually inspired me to start a life list for birding. And Natalie, something that we talk about a lot in this episode is a spark bird. How would you describe a spark bird and a life list to our listeners?
Yeah, great point. We definitely cover both of these topics in our nature walk with Alex. So a life list is basically a very ever-expanding, lengthy list of birds that someone adds to like a lifer list. So for example, this past winter, I saw my first snowy owl. So that's a unique bird that I would call a lifer, compared to like a song sparrow, maybe that you see in your front yard. Maybe wouldn't be like a lifer or a rare bird kind of thing, but nonetheless, it's still a bird that you would add to your life list. And this list, like I said, is an ever-expanding one. And my list really got started. I don't keep one super, I guess, like in a Word document, so to speak. I kind of just write them down as I see them. But what inspired me to start a life list was the idea of a spark bird. And that's something we also kind of dive in quite literally talking about in this episode. And a spark bird is a bird that originally sparks your interest, so to speak, in bird watching. It might be a bird that you see every day. Like I said, a house sparrow earlier. I remember during the COVID pandemic, when I started to get really into birding, I thought house finches were beautiful. They had a beautiful red chest, and the males really have that displayed during spring breeding season. But that being said, it can be really any bird that excites you. For me, that was the snowy egret, and we kind of touch on that a little bit in this episode, but it can be anything really. And spark birds essentially, I feel like, lend itself to starting a life list. So hopefully you are inspired to start a life list based on a bird that you saw that inspired you.
Nice. Well, I'm excited to continue adding to my life list. And if you can, if you're listening to this episode and you're able to, I would suggest listening to this episode on YouTube and checking out our video that we edited together. We put together a lot of photos and videos of every single bird that we mention in this episode. And it helps me actually identify birds and their different attributes, visual attributes. And I know that in our episode, we also talk about different bird calls and the differences within that too. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a good episode to tune into, while you're maybe on a walk yourself. It's a really sweet episode, and we started out with a beautiful poem. And we heard this in the latest episode, but wanted to start it out again as an intro to this episode because it's something that Alex does in his own work as a park ranger. He starts every day with a poem and a quote to set the tone for the day ahead of him with his coworkers, colleagues, with us. It's really a nice way to get a conversation going. And of course, before a nature walk, what better way? So we love that philosophy and hope you enjoy hearing the poem that he shares and the sounds of birds chirping in our discussion.
Yeah, I do have a poem that I'd like to read.
Please, yes.
Yeah,
I was
Speaking
love
of people
that.
that inspire us.
Yes,
For sure.
please.
So this one's by Wendell.
Oh, classic.
When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests, in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars, waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and am free. There's been a few times this month where I've read that poem to myself just to help recenter me.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Because, this is a time where I have felt despair, and returning to these places physically, like going outdoors and touching grass, has been restorative for me.
Coming back home
Yeah.
to San Elijo.
Yeah.
This is a full circle moment. And
Yeah.
now we get to go on a little nature walk and
Absolutely.
check out the birds.
Uh-huh. Yeah, maybe we can see the gnatcatchers out there.
Oh, that would be incredible.
Yeah, that'd be so sick.
I always hear them first before I see them.
Yeah. All the birders go nuts for the gnatcatchers, because if you keep your life list, right, this is one of the few places where you can reliably see them.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
And so when I used to work here, that was one of the first things I learned is
really?
when someone asks you where the California gnatcatcher is, here's what you got to tell them. And there's certain, it's not like always the same spot, but there's a certain type of habitat. They really like the sort of sagebrush chaparral.
Yep.
And so if you spend enough time in, I actually hear one just now. It's that cat sounding bird. Which is perfect because I'm pointing at some sagebrush chaparral.
Of course.
Yeah, we'll go for a walk and I'll point it out.
Awesome.
They're
Great.
usually hard
Let's
to see,
do
but they're
it.
easier to hear.
They're easier to
They sound
hear.
like a cat.
Yep.
Yeah.
But not to be confused with the blue-gray gnatcatcher, which is also very similar.
Of course, yeah. I don't think we get the blue-gray gnatcatcher here.
Oh, really?
Which is,
Okay.
It makes it easier because you can kind of distinguish them by
Yep.
range. There are some places where that range overlaps and that can be hard.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Definitely. Cool. Is
Yeah,
there
let's go
anything
birding.
else?
Yeah,
you
let's
want to
do it.
say? We should just get to it.
And we can also just keep talking.
Yeah, we can just keep chatting away.
Yeah.
We're still live.
We're still live.
Live from San Elijo. We should probably bring Franklin in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we should
Yeah.
get a photo with Franklin.
We should.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see a rail. I know the sun
Yeah.
just came out.
This is beautiful, this trail.
Yeah.
I love this little group. They've been hanging out all day.
Yeah. This is their home.
Some egrets.
Those are double-crested cormorants. Yeah, and then you've got a snowy and a great egret. And some coots.
It's like Big Me and Mini Me.
Right? Yeah, it's cool that they're standing next to each other.
Yeah, it
It's
is
a
really
good
cool.
comparison.
I've not seen them
the
like that
snag.
close together before.
And the Greg.
The snag and the Greg.
The snag and the Greg. The snag is my spark bird.
Oh yeah, the
Yep.
snag. That's an interesting spark bird. Why?
I feel like a practicing ornithologist when I lived in South Carolina. And I fell in love with the low country marsh, and I loved their golden slippers
Yeah,
on
cool.
the snowy egret. I just was captivated by that, and I thought they were cute little birdies.
Yeah, they're
So
good
I just always
birds.
come back to that.
I feel like those ones often get overlooked. The
Yeah.
shorebirds.
I do love shorebirds. I love snowy plovers. I mean, they're just the freaking cutest.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, those ones they're pretty cool.
And the least tern, man, they are suffering.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's Natalie here. I just wanted to pop in, take a quick break to discuss an important topic and really a headline right now in current conservation news that we brought up during this episode. And I thought it was worth having a separate segment to just share a little bit more about what's going on with bird populations in North America and what kind of conservation threats they are facing right now. So there's no denying it. There are several endangered bird species that are under threat. In a recently published report from the 2025 U.S. State of the Birds report by the American Bird Conservancy, it clearly outlines the threats that birds are facing across America, and it also defines really proactive solutions that are needed to protect bird populations for future generations. It's a great report. I highly suggest reading it, and I'll kind of briefly summarize some key findings in it to shed light on what we can do and what is happening to bird populations, endangered birds specifically, across North America. Some key findings from this new report show that more than 1/3 of U.S. bird species are of high or moderate conservation concern, including 112 tipping point species that have lost more than 50% of their population in the last 50 years. One species that we were just talking about was the California least tern, and this is a federally and state listed species, and it was formally listed as endangered under the Federal Endangered Species Act in 1970, and then again under the California Endangered Species Act in 1984. So this species has been gaining a lot of attention for quite some time now. However, we are still seeing that this bird is on the tipping point, and that rapid decline in this population really signals intensifying stressors that these birds and people alike are experiencing because of heat waves in California, habitat loss. Much of the coast in California is developed, and we're experiencing more extreme weather events. So coastal shorebirds are really getting hammered from a lot of different gauntlet of threats, and the California least tern specifically has a very hard time surviving with these ongoing droughts, at least in 2021 to 2022. When I was working with them, there was a huge die-off because of the heat. That being said, they are getting federal funding and attention, but again, this is just one of the species that is facing severe losses, and important to highlight in this episode as we really try to tackle solutions to fighting extinction across North America, especially with shorebirds. That being said, there are lots of solutions in place that this report does a nice job of outlining and gives me hope, and hopefully it gives you hope as well. But some programs in place include private land and conservation partnerships, like conservation ranching. Coastal restoration is a big one here in San Diego, forest renewal, and seabird translocation, which really show how concerted efforts and strategic investments can recover bird populations. So in this case, restoring habitat for the California least tern looks like removing invasive species such as ice plant. Every spring, the San Diego Audubon, now known as the San Diego Bird Alliance, has volunteer programs where you can actually go and remove these invasive plants. And by removing the invasive plants, you're restoring that coastal habitat for shorebirds to come and nest here. Whereas previously, that nesting ground would have been covered by that invasive ice plant and other species. So it's super important to restore coastal habitat for shorebirds, and especially the California least tern. With decades of strategic and aggressive wetland habitat conservation from hunters, landowners, fishers, state and federal agencies, as well as corporations, we have boosted numerous waterfowl and waterbird species when weather conditions are favorable. We've shown that it works, and we must do more. And this is a quote by Dr. Adair with this report that I'm reading. And I just think that's a great way to put it, that conservation does work when it is in the tools of people that can help make a difference. And that's why it's important to have these strategic partnerships when restoring a species to the wild, because ultimately the people coexisting with these birds, the agencies involved, all of those social factors will interact with that coastal environment or other environments where we're seeing species lost. And so it's important to include them in the decision-making process, understand the best use of science and how to restore an area and bring back species from the brink of extinction. And so with reports like this, while it's hard to see the decline, especially with that 1/3 statistic of U.S. bird species are of high or moderate conservation concern, it can be overwhelming to understand solutions. But With people like Alex Wild on the show and other guests we've had, we can really learn about the solutions in place and the work that individuals are taking to make a collective difference. And so that's really our goal at Planet People, is to find that community and make a concerted effort towards saving a species and getting involved to do the work. So thanks for tuning into this segment, and be sure to check out this report in our show notes.
We got some gadwalls here. Do either of you keep life lists?
Of course.
Of course. You got it.
Got it.
For me, that was like kind of like the defining point of like birding being like a mild interest to being like an obsession. It was like starting the list.
Yep.
Which
That's
like
how it gets most people.
Yeah, some people it doesn't, some people are like, oh, it's all about the experience. And I'm like, yeah, I agree, but like
I want to document it.
Trying to like find that target bird that is not on your list yet and you're trying to still find it. It's like that has brought me to some interesting places, and it has gotten me outdoors birding at times where I probably wouldn't have.
Yep.
And it's gotten me so excited about a bird that looks almost just like another bird, but it's like slightly different. And then you just like, you're thrilled, and it's that, I think that level of excitement comes from the life list. And so like for me, it's like that works for me. It's like a collection. It's kind of like.
What's on your life list right now?
Oh, my most recent? Mm-hmm.
A good old lifer.
Gosh, well, I mean, about this trip to Tanzania I went on.
Oh, well, sure.
We saw like 300 species over there.
I saw some really cool kingfishers when I was there.
Yeah.
So many different species of kingfisher.
Nice.
That was cool. But you saw an African spoonbill. That's sick. Did you see a wood stork? Or a caribou stork?
Did not see a wood stork. We saw a lot of
caribou stork, something like that.
The yellow-billed stork.
Oh, cool.
What was the other one? Oh, saddle-billed stork.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, so many.
When you were there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure a couple
endless
hundred.
list.
Yeah. After Tanzania, we went to Turkey, and over there I saw a wall creeper for the first time.
Cool.
Mountains are cool. It's an interesting bird. It's like a high altitude, like an alpine bird in the summers, and then in the winters it comes down and lives on like cliffs and sometimes like dams.
Oh, wow.
And so we were climbing there and we saw it like.
Oh, cool. You were climbing?
Yeah, we were just doing some sport climbing there.
Nice.
So it's just like a little crag, and the wall creeper came, and I was like climbing, and it like came and popped into this little hole like right in front of me, and just like looked at me.
Oh my
and
God.
I like freaked out because like I have been trying to find this bird for years.
Really?
He found you.
Yeah, and I usually try and get pictures of them. But like, obviously I was climbing, I didn't have my camera, So I just like had this moment, and it's like one of the few birds on my life list that I don't have any photo evidence or even a recording or anything.
Sure.
But it's like, I knew it, it's like it came and it was just like, boom, we like locked eyes. And I was like, oh, wall creeper. And I like yelled it out loud, and then my wife was belaying me, and so she freaked out and she was like rustling around for the camera, and I was like, don't bother, it's gonna go. And sure enough, it flew away. And
it literally popped out at you and was like, this is me.
Yeah, it was cool. And that was like our last day of the trip too. So it was like a gift, it's just like, I'm here.
That's
that's kind of the most recent lifer, I guess. Because since being back in California, I haven't.
Any lifers here? Have you seen an American Dipper?
Oh yeah, we see them all the time.
I guess in Yosemite you probably see them
Devil's Postpile. That's that's one of our specialty birds.
That's the John Muir bird.
People come to Devil's Postpile if they're coming birding at the Postpile.
They're coming to see that.
They're there to see the dipper.
Yeah.
Or a black-backed woodpecker, or a variety of sapsuckers.
Okay.
Well, it's the Williamsons or the red-breasted.
Okay.
Yeah, those are kind of our specialties.
Cool.
Not to brag, but
That's a great list of
we got
specialties.
sapsuckers.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I saw my first American Dipper when I was actually in the Angeles National Forest.
Oh, cool. I didn't know they lived there.
Yeah, I think it
like
must have been
low
one of their more
elevation for
southern
them.
range.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, the dippers are cool.
that's awesome.
The dippers are cool because of their behavior, which I think is like unique. Because, they don't look like much. it's like a little black
gray,
songbird. Yeah, like
gray black.
it wouldn't be that interesting if it wasn't for like its behavior. Like, you see them dive down and they like swim. They like legit swim, and then they'll like somehow hold on like in these rapids, and I still don't understand how.
It's cool.
And they like forage. It's cool.
Oh, I haven't seen any kites yet.
This is a good place for kites.
That's cool.
We used to see them here a lot.
Oh, got a little mallard in there.
So if you want to see, well, the tide's a little high.
Yeah.
But if you want to see the rails, they hang out in like these banks on the other side.
On the other side.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they go when the tide rises. I mean, they're still around somewhere.
Sure.
But like at low tide, they forage in like the little muddy spots right at the edge.
Cool. I've seen them in the Tijuana estuary before.
Oh, nice. That's a
here.
good spot to see them.
Yeah. I love rails. They're cool.
Yeah.
They have cute little chicks. All bird chicks are freaking adorable, though.
Yeah.
Have you seen a golden eagle? I'm assuming you probably have.
Yeah. We get them in Yosemite sometimes.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've seen them there. I think I first saw them just in like San Diego. We get them here occasionally.
Yep.
Especially in like the foothills. Like I used to work at Stelter County Park, and we would see golden eagles there occasionally.
Cool. Yeah, in Ramona Grasslands, there's a historic nesting site there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually saw one twice this week when I was by Sawtooth Canyon.
Nice.
Yep. And last week I saw it.
Actually, that's a great spot to see them.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, my life list is nearing 1,000 at this point.
Good for you.
And I'm like,
Great.
well, I don't know. Like, once I hit 1,000, what happens? You know?
Keep going.
Yeah, I think so. But it's like, 1,000 has been like this goal for such a long time. It's like I'm almost like scared to reach
what
that goal.
What are you at now?
989.
Okay,
so I'm 11
yeah, so
birds
you're
away
close.
from
Oh my God.
1,000. It could happen right now.
Right,
Good.
right.
Literally.
Yeah, I mean, not that the number matters, but it's nice to have a goal.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's an obvious goal. It's a nice round number.
You guys are inspiring me to start a list.
Do it.
Do it.
I usually have Natalie around, so I'm like, what's that? Okay, I saw that. Or I'll be like, what's that one bird we saw?
Start your own list.
Do it.
Yeah. If any listeners are still on there, start your own list.
Yeah, right.
Start a
I know
list,
this conversation.
'cause It'll
Ongoing.
it'll kind of light that spark.
Yeah, definitely.
It did for me.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, I think did either of you like do Pokemon?
Oh, yeah.
Do what?
Pokemon?
Yeah.
Like, gotta catch them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
They are like
there's-
Pokemon.
Yeah, there's
People
some
say that.
There's some part of your brain, I think, that Pokemon activates in the same way that like bird listing activates. And so it doesn't work on everyone, but there's some people that are like really into that, right? And so, when I was a kid, I used to do Pokemon, and so like as an adult, I'm just like, oh, this is like, well, it's a lot more of real life, and so it's better in that way. And it's just like a natural extension of gotta catch them all.
Well, it's gamifying things.
Yeah.
To interest people because it makes it competitive, and we're competitive by nature.
Which I think is fine. And then like I love the citizen science component of it too, like eBird and iNaturalist. Like then you're gamifying it is actually like contributing. Yeah, you're like making a difference, even if it's a small one. Like you are providing another data point for researchers to use.
Right.
So
it's like Happy Whale. We talk about that in our first season.
What's Happy Whale?
Like if you see or get a picture or video of a whale, there's this website called Happy Whale, and you can just upload it there. But it's like scientists like really do look at that because
It helps them ID whales.
I've actually heard about this.
Yeah.
Because of like their distinct fin shape or something. It can be like their thumbprint.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And if
like
somebody hasn't
barnacles,
seen one in a
too.
long time, and then it just like pops up on a Happy Whale, they're like, oh, okay, like they're still active, they're still here.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, citizen science is like, that's that's my real social media presence. It's like Instagram is like a side thing, but like iNaturalist is really where it's at. Not that I have like that many followers, and it's not really about followers, but
Totally.
that is kind of like my preferred social media because it's about things that I actually care about.
Right.
Instead of,
Yeah, you don't frequent Insta that much. Seems
Well-
like. Or maybe now.
No,
More
I
so?
don't.
Yeah.
I do now because I see it as a responsibility. Like
Yeah.
I think people look to me to kind of give some
I would
sort of
say so.
information.
And you have
I-
this audience now.
Yeah, and I want to use use that for good. But no, I also I recognize that there's a lot of kind of
nuanced.
toxic pieces to Instagram as well. So it's about keeping it in the good and staying away from the toxic sides of it.
Absolutely. Well, it is crazy. I remember we had been following each other, and then I saw you post that, and it just blew up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's the term viral I think is perfect. Because
literally,
I was having physical symptoms.
Yeah.
You know, I would look at my phone and be like, oh, 500,000 people have seen this. It's like, oh my gosh,
God.
I get lightheaded, right? And then it's like, I look at it again, it's like, oh, 5 million people have seen it. It's like, oh, that's crazy, you know?
Wow.
And I think it ended up getting like 25 million views or something. Which is
insane.
And
but it's
insane.
good to know that people care. Like, people
it
are
is.
like,
It is.
yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that would love that to happen. I am not one of those people.
Yeah, right.
I really value my kind of like community, and I like community recognition. Of
course.
But I don't need any sort of like fame or anything.
Sure.
But I think, the reason it's like, we've already talked about this, like they care about the parks, and they just kind of saw me as like an example of that. And so like
They care about
all of
you
a sudden,
too.
well, yeah, it's like for about a day I thought like, oh wow, so many people care about me.
Yeah.
And then I just like quickly transitioned to being like, no, like there's no way that 25 million people care about me. Like I'm not that important. But 25 million people care about parks,
Yeah.
enough to like say something, or
Do
at
something.
least kind of give it some thought. And a lot of people then like went and gave it a lot of thought, right?
lot of
and kind of like started their own activism because of what they were seeing. So
Well, and also it's like awareness too, because like you have to tell your story to get people to care. So
I like to think they would have latched on to someone else's, but
Yeah.
I think mine was just it was because my job is kind of iconic. Like I am the ranger that most people interact with at parks. People
With the flat
people
brim
know
hat.
what I do.
Yeah.
They see me versus like, the janitor or the locksmith or the maintenance person. Like theoretically we know that these people exist, but we never interact with them.
No. Yeah.
But people do interact with like rangers like me.
and really receive what you're sharing with them.
Yeah,
and
so
absorbing
I think it just kind of like hit home. you
Yeah.
know?
And that's what, that's the beauty of storytelling. And storytelling spurs activism and change. It's like we can share
sure.
facts about what's happening, but if there isn't a story attached to it and there isn't an emotional component, then it's hard to get people to care.
Yeah.
How does it affect you? What's emoting you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, your story inspired me. That's why you're here.
Thanks. Yeah. And there, there's
having
been a
a
lot of
time
good
over there.
connections coming from that. Dang, the turns are freaking out, huh?
Wow.
Okay.
Cool.
You're the turn expert. What kind are we looking at?
They sound like elegant turns.
That's impressive to tell the difference, because like this, the calls of turns, they all kind of sound like.
Well,
turns to
I
me.
think they're elegant turns. There's one turn that sounds like a pterodactyl.
Oh yeah, I think they all do.
They kind of all do, but let's do a callback.
Oh yeah, we can use Merlin. Shout out to Merlin.
Fuck yeah.
That's my favorite app. If you only have one app on your phone, it should,
It should be Merlin.
yeah.
So yeah, the options
Oh,
here would be
curly.
like, what is it? Royal, elegant, or Caspians probably.
Oh yeah, the Caspian is what sounds like the pterodactyl.
Oh yeah.
I think
They're
these are
like-
elegants.
They're easier to ID because they got that big reddish
Yeah,
bill.
yeah.
The elegant and the royal, I always get mixed up because it's more of like a size difference. Unless if
I
you
think
get
royals
really
are a
good
little
look at it.
smaller.
I think so.
I think they're a little smaller. And they have that tuft that comes up that makes them look like they have a crown with their feathers sticking up. I'm pretty sure. But I'm a little rusty on my shorebirds, not gonna lie. I've been spending too much time in the desert.
Yeah.
Not too much, never too much time. It's beautiful out here. We're lucky.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
ended up being a beautiful afternoon. This is awesome.
I'm like,
I've
where
been
did
seeing
the
some
ridge-
fishies jump up too.
Nice.
Oh, Alex, do you see
Oh yeah,
that?
those are the mullets, like the hairstyle.
Oh, maybe
Oh, yeah?
that's a
Yeah.
that's not a ridgeway rail.
Oh, you do?
No, I thought maybe
Yeah.
But it's just a mallard. I was going to ask you to get eyes on it, but they're just ducks. Not just ducks.
I'm merlining right now.
Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah, see.
Elegant. Nailed it.
Not bad.
Dang.
Nice.
Got a good ear.
Took me a long time.
In Yosemite, that's like kind of the only way to go birding. Because like the birds are always hiding from you.
In Yosemite?
Yeah. What was that? Oh, a rintit. Oh yeah, the ping pong. Up,
There's the killdeer.
Yeah, in Yosemite they're always hiding from you. You know, because it's like you've got ponderosas that are 100 feet tall.
Yeah.
So and they like to kind of hang out in the trees mostly. Like you'll see robins, of course, but if you want to like kind of observe an interesting bird or like a less common bird, you got to like learn how to recognize their calls.
Totally. Trying to think. When we were there a year ago, we were getting ready to go on a hike. We saw a pileated woodpecker. It flew right past us. It flew right past us and landed on a tree like 5 feet from us, and we're all looking at each other
close
like
to the ground too.
like jaw dropped. We were at eye level with it, and Hugh and I are looking at each other like,
I think we have a video of it.
we do. It's a great video. It's hilarious. It was just like,
That's so cool.
this is our sign to go on this hike. It's pointing us in the direction. Nature does that.
This is in the valley. You saw that? Yeah.
Nature does that. It has a way of pointing you in the right direction. You just have to be open to receiving those types of signs.
Yeah, for sure.
Another Princess Mononoke moment.
Let's hear it.
He was getting the injured to their like tribe, and the little nature spirits were walking him and leading the way. And there was a moment where he's like, "Are you leading me the right way, or are you just getting us lost?"
You have to trust the universe.
I have to watch that movie. I've never seen it.
If you haven't seen any of the Studio Ghibli films, you got to watch all of them because
Okay.
They're hard for me to follow a little bit.
I've seen a couple.
They're Japanese, and so it's a different type of animation style and storytelling. But I mean, if you just turn off your phone and just really get into it,
Princess
you'll learn to
Mononoke was
love
like
it.
the hardest for me to follow.
It's funny. I feel like
It's a
you would
little
relate.
slow.
You would relate to that the most.
I liked Howl's Moving Castle.
I've seen that one.
That one's good.
Spirited Away is obviously
Spirited
Also
Away
that
is
one.
awesome.
That one's freaky though, with
Oh,
the
of
giant
course.
monster
Yeah.
eating the gold. Oh
Yeah.
god, that guy always freaked me out when I was a kid.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, watch Princess Mononoke.
have you
You'll
seen
love it.
what's the fish one? Ponyo.
Yeah, so
No,
good.
no, I have
Ponyo
not.
is a good one.
Of course, I've seen all of them.
Yeah, obviously.
You're a fan.
Well, this is nice.
Gosh, this nasturtium. This was a big part of my job when I worked here,
Removing
trying to remove it. Yeah, it's an invasive
Invasives, yeah.
species. Yeah.
looks invasive. You can tell
Yeah.
because it's covering the whole landscape.
Yeah,
What kind of plant is
kind of
that?
a lost
Soaking up
cause.
the water.
It's nasturtium. Yeah, the flowers are delicious.
Oh yeah.
You'll sometimes get them on like a fancy salad. They're spicy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, almost like a mustard style flavor. Gosh, I haven't walked this in a long time, but this is like the first set of plants that I ever learned, right? So
Really?
yeah, I know all these. This is the
What's that?
arroyo willow,
Okay.
Salix lanceolapis. You've got
Grasshopper.
Oh, is it grass?
oh, nice.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, wild radish, another invasive that we used to remove.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean right here by the trail, you get a lot of that stuff. But
Are they
here's-
still removing
Here's
it?
ambrosia.
Oh yeah. Good old ambrosia.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're trying their best, but I'm sure the county parks are still working to remove these things.
Do you think you would ever go back to the county park level?
I would consider it.
Yeah.
Right now, those jobs are looking a bit more stable than
Yeah.
federal park rangers.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I would consider it. I think I'm pretty dedicated to the national parks right now.
Yeah.
But
Well, they need you.
I think they are less dedicated to me.
Right.
What a hard feeling.
I know, right? Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it's
look, my
like a
community,
conundrum.
I have a lot of community recognition and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the landscape itself, I feel welcome in. But, yeah, you know, I got fired once and there's plans to do more reductions in force. So
yeah.
it's possible that I get fired again. And, I would still want to be a ranger in some capacity. It's kind of become a lifestyle.
You
at
can't
this
really
point.
fire passion.
Yeah.
Right. You can't really fire passion. It
Yeah,
will find
exactly.
a way. It will find a way.
Yeah, so it's kind of my, it's kind of what I do is range.
Yeah.
So if I'm not ranging for the national parks, I'll probably range for someone else.
Yeah.
Maybe come back to my roots with county parks, or there's a lot of other agencies, right? Like state parks.
So how many lives did you save?
That's hard to know. I don't always get the outcome, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's hard to know if my intervention was the reason why they survived or not.
Yeah. What's like a
But
story?
I do play a role in that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not always intense. Sometimes it's just kind of like helping out a lost person.
Yeah.
But, if I wasn't there, would they have continued to get more lost? And
With me, yes.
would they ever make it back? I don't know.
Right.
So it's hard to know. You can't put a number on it.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Or what's an instance where like things were close?
Where things were close?
Yeah, like a story where you just actually, I don't know. I know in some of your sharings you told like, oh, I was the only EMT in the park.
Yeah.
So that's devastating that.
Yeah, and that's true. I think that got my story a lot of attention. Because like they're like, oh, why would you fire the only EMT in the park? And it's true, and also it kind of got blown up a little bit. Like there is other emergency response. It just would take them longer. So like I can get there in depends where they are, but maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah.
From the time that they get a hold of me, which is pretty dang quick.
That is fast. I'm surprised to hear that.
And it would take other responders.
A couple hours probably, at least.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, maybe like an hour at the fastest.
And that's a long time.
Yeah.
If someone is in dire need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I would say like sometimes it's dramatic and sometimes it doesn't have to do with the park so much as just like someone having their own medical emergency that's in the park.
Oh.
Right?
Is
I mean,
that
like
more
anything
common?
can happen in
Yeah.
parks. Yeah, sure. Yeah. And so there have been times where I respond to something like that. And then other times it is like the park itself that is kind of creating the emergency. Like,
like someone falls.
yeah, like slip and falls, right? I mean, we have a 101-foot slip and fall hazard, Rainbow Falls.
Yeah.
See.
So things happen. I'm grateful that we don't have like major accidents all that much.
That's good. I feel like you probably can't say the same about Yosemite.
They have it more, but they have more visitors.
Yeah.
Just more, even more slip and fall hazards,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
But in the business, we talk about PSAR, which is preventative search and rescue.
Okay.
And I think that the reason we don't have as many incidents as we could is because of PSAR. I think it actually works, right?
Really?
And so a big part of my job, besides just like educating people, is to like make sure that they're prepared.
Yeah.
And talk to them about bringing the right equipment, the right water. You save lives just by doing that.
Yeah.
And you don't know about it because it never gets to the point where it's dramatic.
Sure.
But like, I'm always saving lives just by like,
Preventative care.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's
Preventative
so
search and rescue, right? Like, that's huge.
Yeah. And I didn't know that until you just told me
There you go.
about it. Like, I'm sure most people don't know that that's what it is until they realize they left home safe or they left the area safe.
There you go. It's subtle, we slip it in.
Yeah.
And we don't profile people exactly, but we do kind of look at people's shoes.
Yeah.
And we kind of look at like their backpacks, and like if they have no backpack and no visible water bottles,
that's a
I'm
flag.
pretty likely to just like talk to them.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? And maybe just start with like a regular conversation, but I'm also kind of like making sure that they're going to be okay out there.
Yeah.
That's the behind the scenes of rangering.
Yeah, right.
We do kind of have objectives of keeping people safe. It's what we do.
Yeah, that's incredible. And that's such an intuitive response because you have to observe the different types of people that walk through the door, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Like
totally.
newcomers, people who have, are veterans and visiting.
Yeah.
And it'll make them more likely to come back and get more interested if they
Don't get hurt.
Yeah, don't get hurt or like.
Yeah.
I mean, even to the simplest thing of they have a water bottle now. You know?
Totally.
And I've
like
seen-
I like having inexperienced people come to the parks. I think it's really cool.
It is cool.
You know, like I've seen people go up Half Dome all the way to the top. They're on their first hike.
Yeah.
Wow.
They have never hiked before.
What
and they've done Half Dome with like, shoes with like no traction.
Yeah, right.
And like a single water bottle in their hand and no backpack. And it's like, it is like truly inspiring because it's not for like training or preparedness. You got to the top of that rock out of sheer will.
Sheer willpower.
Yeah. And like that's cool.
That is cool.
And also maybe bring more water.
More water, please.
Yeah, and maybe get better shoes, but like,
Yeah.
it's impressive that they can pull it off.
Yeah, right? And it kind of goes to show that you don't need a bunch of gear and like all this extra stuff. You just need your 2 feet and some hydration, good, and maybe
A snack.
another person with you,
Yeah,
just in case.
yeah, for sure.
I think something you would appreciate, I read this quote the other day that, you talk about how social media, you feel a responsibility to an audience now.
Yeah.
And it sort of goes back to indigenous peoples who felt they had an obligation to the land rather than a right over the land. And I think modern day, like, people want their rights, but what about our obligation to the land, our responsibility? And I'll send you that quote, but it just really resonated with me because we don't want to like have to fight for these things, but we have to.
Yeah,
It's like a privilege to.
yeah,
So,
for sure.
100%.
And also to just keep
indigenous
fighting.
approach.
They've had to fight.
The indigenous approach is to fight.
Yeah,
It really is.
They have to survive. Like,
yeah. San Elijo Lagoon.
we did it.
Amazing.
And then, do you want to snap a one of him real quick?
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
let's get one of you.
Yeah.
This will be good. We need like a cover photo for the episode. Oh, and you got your Knox. Perfect. Yay. Okay. You have a great smile, by the way.
Thanks.
That's probably another thing that captivated people.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
And that photo of you is really like the one that caught everyone's attention, that first post. That is an incredible photo.
I think I owe my friend Miles like $15 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is an incredible photo. I mean, you're just so like
I should
in the
probably
landscape.
just like buy the photo rights from him at this point.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that was on a wilderness patrol.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just captivating. You're in your element. You got your uniform on. You're doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
And you look happy as hell.
I am happy as
You
hell.
are
That was
happy
like,
as hell.
I mean, like the wilderness ranger job, it can be hard, right? Like it can be either like tedious doing the permit desk, or it can be like intense if you're like rescuing someone. But then like, like the job is pretty fun, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the appeal.
Yeah,
that's
the
why
appeal.
people
That's why
do
I'm a
that job.
biologist. I get to be outside.
Yeah. And there's some days where you're doing a patrol and it feels like you're just getting paid to hike.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's cool.
you're doing surveys or you're checking in with backpackers, but like, it's cool getting to be out there.
Oh, yeah.
You're a ranger, a wilderness ranger. It's like,
I mean, that's the most epic title ever.
yeah,
It's awesome.
especially when your last name is Wild.
What? That's also really
know.
cool. Like, I feel like that's another thing where that's like a spiritual like connection to your name and then to the land as well.
Yeah. So you've been here before already, right?
She has. I
Just
haven't.
once.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go on the boardwalk. That's
Yeah.
kind of the coolest place.
Oh,
Okay.
let's go.
We'll just do like a little out and back on
Yeah.
the boardwalk.
Yeah.
I'm super down.
I want to check in on some trees.
Cool.
I planted some of the trees along that
nice.
boardwalk
Aw.
You get to check up on
like
your homage.
14 years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
So I want to make sure they're
beautiful.
still here.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
talk about like rewarding.
Yeah. Restoration is awesome in
Yeah.
that way.
What kind of trees?
Cottonwoods.
Cool.
I see one. Well, that one might be a new one. Yeah, some of these cottonwoods near the beginning of the trail I planted.
Talk about coming home.
Yeah.
Must be
And then we walked
good
past some
feeling.
sycamores that I planted already.
cool.
We were mid thoughts.
Oh, you are cute. Hi.
Oh, hey, Jeff. It's my brother.
Oh, hi.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, you guys look identical.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Did you know I was going to be here?
Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Hey, Caspian. Nice.
Hi.
What's your dog's name?
Caspian.
Caspian.
Pretty. We're so
Like the
excited.
prince.
So excited.
Nice. Oh, we're still. Yeah, you're on
Go.
camera. Yeah.
Hey,
Say hi to the people.
Aloha.
Yeah.
Caspian, say hi.
Hey, buddy.
We saw Franklin.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
want to say hi.
Oh, you saw him?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, I gave him a little scratch behind the neck.
Baby.
You are so
Nice.
I guess
cute.
it just
Oh my
came out today.
goodness.
You are
Today? Yeah, I got to wake him up.
Nice, dude.
He was brumating until he heard my voice.
Yeah.
And then he started rustling and he was like, Alex? Is that you?
Yes, he heard your voice.
Yeah.
He knew.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we had a moment.
Yeah, he came over.
That's cool.
He remembered you?
Yeah,
Aw.
stuck his neck out.
I like to think that he recognized my
Hi,
voice.
baby. You're so
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah.
Tortoises are intuitive. Animals are
You're
more smart
so
than we know.
Yeah, they're pretty
Yeah.
smart.
You are so cute. I
You
love
make
dogs.
You guys are doing a Franklin, like, podcast?
Just talking about like kind of national parks in general.
Oh,
and
okay.
some of the threats to the parks.
Endangered species.
yeah.
I've been
Everything under
birding
the
a little bit too.
umbrella.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
What kind of birds?
A lot of shorebirds. What else did we see?
Plants.
Cormorants,
Sparrows.
some
yellow
gadwalls.
frills.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
for
Beautiful
sure.
Find
area.
any of your rare ones?
No, I don't think there were any like rare birds today. I heard the gnatcatcher. In fact, like this is one of the places that they hang out in.
Yeah.
Is these sagebrush right here. But
You are so cute.
Yeah.
Yes.
People
Yeah.
come over here, like, looking for, like, the rare birds that you
Yeah.
guys, you've heard.
Yes.
She's
Yeah.
more of the
I'm an
bird, but I
ornithologist
like
by
to look.
trade,
I don't
so-
remember
Yeah,
them, but
you're
I'm like,
pretty.
cool bird.
but you're gonna start a life list after
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Yeah,
Alex,
yeah.
I
Do you have a
know.
life list?
I don't.
You gotta
no.
get on
But
that.
Alex, yeah, man, he's got,
I mean, it's not for everyone, but for me, it's
it's like
yeah,
Pokemon.
it is like.
That's right. We were
Yeah.
just talking about that.
Yeah.
Gamify
It'd be
it.
fun to make, like, a game out of it, huh? Like, you
Yeah.
find one, you can use
100%.
it, special powers.
Yeah.
You are so
Yeah.
cute,
Nice,
Caspian.
I'll let you guys do
we're
your
still- well, I'll-
podcast thing. Yeah,
I'll
just
catch up
cruise
with you.
around. Yeah,
Yeah, we're still recording, but
Cool. Do it. Yeah. I'll probably
I just
do it.
wanted to show him some
I'll do it.
trees.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
nice
Yeah, I'll
to
catch
meet
up with
you.
you
Yeah,
after.
nice to meet
Cool.
you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know? Did he tell you he was coming?
No, I had no idea.
That's so funny.
Oh, it looks like they've done a recent planting project
Okay.
here. That's cool.
Wow.
So these are the trees here?
And his hummingbird.
Oh, nice.
Wow, look at that pink. Woof. Flashing us
Where?
up there. 12 o'clock, top of the.
Top.
Oh, I see. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that color is something.
Oh, so pretty. I love hummingbirds.
Do you see your trees?
It would have been those ones back there. These ones are kind of more recent.
Yeah,
In the
those
past, we wanted to leave this like a little more open, but it's cool that they're filling it in now because it is supposed to be like a riparian zone.
Yeah.
So it should be like pretty dense.
A little bit more
Dense growth here.
would be good.
Yeah, but no, I think that was one of mine. Those sycamores on the back end were definitely mine.
Oh, yeah?
And those ones I've been like, every time I come here, I keep an eye on them.
There you go. Truly a steward of the
Yeah,
land. You're coming back to check on.
yeah. You know, it's cool. You plant trees and you can come back for your whole life and they'll still be there.
We should have a planting day with Planet People
Ooh, that'd be cool.
and just do like a big, like collaborative effort with some other groups that are more established in doing the tree plants. But I want to
Yeah.
have like a big Planet People party where we just come together, do something good for the environment, enjoy ourselves. Ooh.
Yeah, that would be fun.
There he
Planet
is.
People Festival.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, we have big plans. I want to have like a, you know how in the 80s there was a Live Aid for raising awareness for AIDS in
Yeah, of
Africa?
course.
I want to do that, but for the environment. And with you too,
Of course.
because the Joshua Tree album
Oh, yeah.
and Joshua trees are going to be a huge topic in our next season. And just like, we need to bring people together under like a uniting cause. And I think that's the environment right now.
Yeah. That would be a really cool event.
Thanks.
I hope that you can do it.
One day
Yeah.
in the future for sure.
Yeah, maybe in the near future. I think
In
we
the
I think
very
we need
near.
something like that. like
In
now.
the very near future, yeah. When I was in high school, we threw a huge event to raise a ton of money for leukemia. We raised like almost $100,000 in the month of February. And one of those events included a 12-hour dance-off.
Oh my gosh.
And
12 hours?
we didn't stop. We raved for like 12 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Wait, that's so
And
funny.
it
In
was
Gilmore
so
Girls,
fun.
they do like a 24-hour version, and I've never heard of anyone doing anything like that.
I just feel like I
12
want to
hours is a
return
lot.
back to that version of myself.
Yeah.
That was like super, I was in like the SGA, and I loved raising awareness for things.
What is
and,
this birdie? Little.
That looks like
Yeah,
a
sparrows.
sparrow.
Oh.
See any towhees? I thought we were hearing some earlier, but
Yeah, they do hang out here.
Yeah.
The towhees used to come into the visitor center.
okay, that's funny. But yeah, there's just always been that side of me, and I think it would be fun to come back
Yeah.
full circle with Planet People.
Yeah.
Why not? Just have like a Planet People party. Invite
Yeah.
all the guests, our listeners, bring people together, go bird watching,
Yeah.
do a beach cleanup, have a concert.
All
Just
of
make
it.
it like a fun thing.
All of it. The more the better.
The more the better.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
stunning.
Honestly, I'd work here again.
Yeah.
It's good, especially now.
gorgeous spot.
Like at the time, I was like only kind of mildly into birding.
Yeah.
But now that I'm like really into it,
Oh, yeah.
it'd be cool, and I think it'd be good for this place to have like rangers that are
Ornithology focused.
like real into it, you know.
Well, there's a good old Greg out there.
Greg
Greg.
and a pie-billed grebe maybe. in
Yeah.
front.
Oh yeah, grebes are so cute.
Yeah.
Are those the same grebes that are at Mono Lake?
Yeah, we get pied-billed out there.
Okay.
But Mono Lake is like filled with eared grebes.
Oh yeah.
Tons of them.
They're so
Thousands of them.
cute.
Yeah.
When they're
cool.
little babies. I really want to go kayaking
yeah.
through Mono Lake. Yeah, we'll have to think of a fun title for this episode. Getting Wild
Yeah,
with Alex Wild.
puns are allowed. I will accept it.
Great.
You know,
I mean, come on. Like,
yeah,
it works out.
I've chosen that with the
Totally.
name.
But we're with Alex the Naturalist right now.
Sure.
Alex Wild, the
sure.
Naturalist.
Yeah. Because that's who I am every day. I'm only Ranger Wild when I'm on the clock.
Yeah, true that. Well, it's funny how we can embody these like different versions of ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm a scientist in my day job, but I feel like a naturalist
Yeah, totally.
by trade.
Yeah.
And like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, I feel like naturalist embodies the spiritual component of the connection to the land that the science just cannot hold that space.
Yeah, and like I love the term naturalist because
Me too.
it encompasses a lot. You're not just a scientist. You're like a scientist that also like wants to gather the whole story and kind of like make connections. One of like the OG naturalists is Alexander Humboldt. You know about this guy?
Well, is that why Humboldt's named after him?
Yeah, there's like I heard once that there's more things named after Humboldt than anything else.
Is that right?
That might be true, except for like maybe Jesus.
Sure.
But yeah,
What's his
Humboldt.
story?
So he was like kind of the first person to make like global naturalist connections, right?
Oh.
Like he's responsible for making some of the observations that connect like continental drift
Oh.
and plate tectonics,
interesting.
right? It's like we use biological observations
yeah.
to like make some of those connections, and he made those observations.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like pre-Darwin, pre-John
I was gonna
Muir.
say, yeah,
Yeah,
he must
so like,
be, yeah.
yeah, but you know, he kind of like, he became a professional at the time when like globalism was happening, right? And colonialism,
Sure.
right? And he was like very outspoken about like the impacts and dangers and negative impacts of colonialism, right? Especially in South America. And so I think it's cool. I respect him for that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because
Kinda
like at the
surprising.
time, yeah, that was like radical. Like, you know, a lot of people kind of like went along with that stuff, and sometimes we give them a pass because we're like, oh, it's like, you know, they were a product of their times. But then you look at Alexander Humboldt, and he was like, no. You know, he had like a good mind for justice, and he was like, no, this is wrong.
Which was radical for sure at the time.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
is today.
Yeah, exactly. And he was also like a super cool naturalist. You know, he would say like, I want to be experiencing 3 new things all the time. You know, and I kind of feel the same way,
Yeah,
where
right.
it's like,
Burning.
you know, I always, yeah, exactly. I always want to be like finding something new or making some sort of connection. So, shout out to
Well said.
Alexander Humboldt,
Shout out to
Yeah.
all those who paved the path before
Yeah.
us, the pioneers.
for sure.
So many pioneers to look up to, and we covered a lot of them today. And it's awesome.
Yeah.
Jane Goodall definitely being like a huge center point for all of us.
Yeah.
And we're so lucky, like, to have her. What a gift she is. Her name is Goodall.
Yeah.
She wants good for all. It's awesome.
All the name puns.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, me too.
My
I
name
love
being
it.
Coral, I get my fair share
Yeah,
I bet.
that's true.
all the time.
Yeah.
And names are important.
Yeah.
Like identifying with names. Like, it's awesome. Your last name is Wild. My middle name is Jane. I feel like connected to that name in different ways.
Yeah.
And your name is Coral. You get to be part of like the ocean. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why your parents named you Coral.
Yeah.
Was because of Coral.
Yeah. It is kind of funny how that works out, you know. Like
Well,
there's like a ranger named Forrest. It's like, oh, come on, that's a little
Yeah,
obvious,
right?
I
you
love
know?
that.
There's actually like quite a few of us that have these like nature
yeah?
names.
Hey, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's for a reason. I really believe that. It's
Yeah.
a spiritual, deep, vulnerable feeling to the name.
You do you know of Shelton Johnson?
Yes, the Yosemite Ranger?
You should get him on your podcast.
Yeah, we should. He's a legend, huh?
I mean, that man.
Were you friends with him? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or
Yeah,
I
he
guess
still works
are.
there.
Yeah, he still works there.
Yeah.
How long has he been a ranger for?
Probably longer than I've been alive.
Yeah. Cool.
He's made a career out of it, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, man.
And there aren't many, I'm sure, many black rangers that work in Yosemite.
Yeah, not many. Yeah, and I think, you know, he has made some real impact.
cool.
Like there's more kind of black visitors and rangers because of him,
Is that right?
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like you can see the real impact that he's made.
That's incredible.
Paving the way.
Yeah,
the way.
yeah.
Who's the other, her name, the older black lady who's a ranger? She's like almost 100. She's kind of like the new Rosie the Riveter, but
Yeah, she was like one of the
she became a
oldest, like
ranger.
still working
Yeah.
rangers.
she was
but
like in her 70s. I
Her
think she became
name
a
escapes me right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never met her.
ranger. No, yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
She's still working at 100 years old?
She was. I think she's
know if
retired
she
at this
is.
point. But like, there was like some big story about like how
Yeah.
she was
Oh, wow. Okay, we
like
gotta find
retiring.
her name.
I don't know if she was 100, but she's old.
She's up
She was
there.
the oldest
Yeah.
ranger still in service.
That's
How
so
lucky
cool.
are we to have these people
I
like
know.
Jane
I
and these
know.
rangers?
It's
and
crazy.
Hi, Planet People. We wanted to interrupt because we feel that this park ranger deserves all the recognition. Betty Reed Soskin is a legend, and we are here to tell her story.
Betty Reed Soskin, born Betty Charbonnet in 1921, is a true American icon, and she is the modern-day Rosie the Riveter. As a champion for national parks, Betty was a park ranger with the National Park Service and was assigned to the Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Historical Park in Richmond, California. Betty grew up in a Cajun Creole African-American family that settled in Oakland, California, following the Great Flood that devastated New Orleans in 1927. In the early 2000s, Betty contributed to scoping meetings with the City of Richmond and the National Park Service to develop the general management plan for Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Historical Park. Thankfully, through a grant funded by PG&E, she helped uncover untold stories of African Americans on the World War II homefront, which led to a temporary position at the National Park Service at the age of 84. By 2007, Betty became a permanent National Park Service employee, leading public programs and sharing her personal observations and remembrances at the Park Visitor Center. In 2013, during the federal government shutdown, Betty's status as the oldest NPS ranger gained national and international attention through numerous media interviews. While emphasizing the importance of her work, she steered clear of political debates, focusing on her mission to share the stories of the World War II home front. This exposure transformed her from a local Bay Area figure to a globally recognized symbol of resilience and history. Sometimes people's stories just make me want to cry. She's so dedicated. It's so clear in her whole life history and story of wanting to bring this cultural heritage to the home front of this national park. And it's such an incredible feat that she did this, especially at her age, which just goes to show you that you can do anything at any time in your life. And this was just something that called to her, which I think it's beautiful that she answered to this call. Betty had such an incredible career and dedicated so much of her life to furthering not only women, but Black communities, and they're carrying their stories to, like I said, the home front.
Betty was the oldest active national park ranger at age 100 when she retired in 2022. She's truly a legend.
Today, Betty is over 100 years old and celebrated as a reflection of resilience, determination, and historical insight. Thank you for all of your hard work, Betty.
I'm a big believer of like looking to your elders and
look to your ancestors.
Yeah.
spend the
respect
time
them.
to get to know them and get to know their stories too.
100%. My favorite quote by Jane, actually there are two, it's gather people into your network and see what kind of difference they can make. And she said that on a video conference call with the Wildlife Conservation Network during the pandemic. And that was my first time hearing her speak. And everything has changed since then. And that's why I started Planet People, because I wanted to bring people into my network and connect, because we were in such a disconnected time. And we're coming out of that, but now we're coming into this other strange time. And so that's why I want to have the benefit concert and a festival and like get people together, see what kind of difference we can all make. Because together we can, together we will, together we must.
Yeah, community is super important. Even just for like supporting each other in life.
Emotionally, totally.
You know, a lot of us care about parks, and a lot of us are hurting when we see like all of this happening to parks.
It just hits home.
Yeah, and it's good for us to like be with each other, right? Like that's, you know, these like protests and rallies and stuff. I think of that as half the benefit. It's just like being physically with people who are like
100%.
also feeling this way.
Yeah.
And you have that solidarity.
It's cathartic.
It is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you meet like-minded people, and sometimes it's hard to find them in the real world when we're all caught up in our own thing, and we're lucky. I'm enjoying this so much, though.
I know, this is just gorgeous.
Oh, wow. This is where I should host my next bird walk with Audubon,
Yeah.
or San Diego Bird Alliance now. But
They don't call themselves Audubon anymore?
no,
Huh?
just because of him being who he was.
So,
As a
but the Audubon Society still...
They
has
didn't
that
change
name.
the national name, no.
Oh, okay, just
But a lot of
the
ones, a lot of local chapters have changed their name. There's the New York San Diego Bird Alliance,
Oh, interesting.
Golden Gate Alliance. I think, yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, Audubon wasn't a household name for a lot of folks growing up, I think, so.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're looking forward to getting back, though, to ranging.
Back to ranging. Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll feel really nice
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
just like be done with this season of like intense
Well, it's a lot.
advocacy.
I know, and
and-
it's like,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just like literally just like walking the trails.
Yeah,
and talking
right.
to people. Get this.
oh,
Okay, now wait, like, you can tell me, do you want to like get these when you go to the post pile, or is this going to inspire you to come to the post pile?
it's going to inspire me.
Inspire, yeah. But I am like that. I'm
I
like,
am
I
like
don't
that
want something.
Right
If
here.
no, I want
You
it.
got to say the pledge.
Okay.
Ready? This is, I'm a junior ranger.
I'm a junior ranger.
I'll protect the park from danger.
I'll protect the park from danger.
I won't pick the plants.
I won't pick the plants.
I won't squish the ants.
I won't squish the ants.
No animals will get my food.
No animals will get in my food.
I won't litter because that's rude.
I won't litter because that's rude.
My job is never done.
My job is never done.
Junior ranger life is fun.
The junior ranger life is fun.
There you go. Good job.
Woo!
There you go. Now
That's great.
I feel honored.
and then you can go to the post pile and actually go
dying
see
to
what
go.
that columnar basalt.
Yeah.
Dying to go.
Yeah.
I'm
And we can
excited.
talk about more fun things like geology and volcanic history.
Yeah.
All the fun things. And we'll
The
see you there
nitty gritty.
this
Yeah.
summer. We'll hit you up.
Cool.
Nice.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Planet People. We are thrilled to have you as part of our community of wildlifers who care about protecting the planet for future generations to enjoy. We hope that by listening to this podcast, you will be inspired to connect with nature and become a steward of the planet by getting involved and taking action with your local community conservation organization. Until next time, stay positive, Planet People. Thank you to my team here at Planet People. This episode was produced by Natalie Jane Sybil, Coral Carson, and Hugh Carr. Edited by Coral Carson. Theme song by Hugh Carr under the artist name Flama. Thank you, team.